Good morning, YouTube. It's September 22nd, 2016. Anyway, so I'm here to recap, review Queen Sugar Season 1, Episode 4. Okay, so I just saw the show. Let's get started. Okay, so the scene opens with RalphAngle in a bank. He's visiting with his banker. The girls, his two sisters, which would be Nova and Charlie, have deposited $100,000 in the bank for his use in running the farm and trying to bring a crop. Okay, so uh, so RalphAngle is left in charge of the farm. Okay, immediately we see that he is in over his head. There's a lot of things, even though he worked with the farm with his father for many years, there are a lot of things he didn't know about farming. And so, first of all, he failed to register the farm with the state. I guess it's something that has to happen. I'm sorry. He's got this guy Remy who seems to know uh, a lot about how the business works, but he's got other jobs. Okay, so I'm going to make a prediction here. Now, I predict that Remy, who is the guy who Charlie has been flirting with, who used to work with the father before he passed away, and also Hollywood, who is Aunt Vi's, let me fix this, Aunt Vi's boyfriend. He's got jobs out of state, so he goes away and works and then comes back. I'm going to predict that both of those gentlemen are going to be working on the farm because they have the expertise. The things that RalphAngle is lacking, they have a knowledge of it, even though they say it's been offered that they work with him already by various people, by the girls, and suggested even by Aunt V. By, but they have other commitments. I think those commitments are going to take us a back seat, and they're going to all end up working on this farm, and maybe possibly even the girls, Nova and Charlie. But at any rate, for the moment, RalphAngle's in charge. He's messing things up, not intentionally. He's just a lot of things he doesn't know. Okay, so he failed that first, and then he was late buying. I guess it's called seed cane. This is what they plant to grow the sugar cane. It's a sugar cane farm. He was late to get to the place, so the man let him in, but they had nothing for him, basically because he was supposed to I guess reserve it early. He failed to do that, and so the other farms have taken all the seed cane that they've available. So he's left with a dilemma because now they can't grow a crop if they don't have any seed cane. That's how the whole process begins. So at his job, his parole officer had stipulated that he work a full-time job. So he got a job in this warehouse. He started the job last week, in the last season. I mean, for us, it'd be last week. So he's working full-time. One of his co-workers, I don't know if this guy's in management or not, but it's one of his co-workers, says that he actually has seed cane because someone in his family has a farm that they're not going to use the seed cane they have, and so he makes an offer. Keep that in mind in case you need it. And RalphAngle ends up buying the seed cane from this co-worker's family member, and it is a scam. Uh, they knowingly sell him seed cane that is contaminated with some kind of fungus or something like that. Anyway, it's worthless. He pays $15,000 for it, which will give him a good start on what he needs to do. And so Remy immediately checks this seed cane that he's purchased and tells him that it's no good. He's been ripped off, and so now he's wasted $15,000. Okay. Co-worker stuck in Virginia buys the seed cane. Okay, he's under a lot of stress. He knows. I'm thinking he realizes that he's over his head, but he wants to, you know, keep his head up and say that no, I've got everything under control. But he's very stressed out. So he's talking to Nova over the phone, and he tells her about the situation. So he's not hiding it, which is good, because he could just act like it never happened and try something else. But he tells the girls this is their money. about the sea cane, and then she reacts to that, and then he goes off on her. He goes off on her because she is very active in working with these young black people who she does these stories on, and she's been spending a lot more time with them than she spent with him when he was locked up. Because apparently she only came and visited him twice. I don't know how long he was locked up, but she only came here twice, and so they fall out about that. But it's really about he's under this pressure, so he goes off on her. All right, I'm gonna be sticking to basically the characters. Go through what goes on with them. Okay, Charlie is back in L.A. First thing she does when she gets back to L.A., of course, that's where her husband lives. He's a big basketball player, and he's having difficulty because of the scandal. First thing she does when she gets back, she goes to the clinic, to her gynecologist, but she wants to be tested for everything, and we all seem to understand that because of this story that's in the news, she wants to be checked out for BD or AIDS or anything else that he might have passed on to her. And so she hasn't forgiven him. They're trying to, as far as the business goes, she is his manager, so she's trying to get the best deal for him and settle his situation as best she can, without becoming too emotionally attached to the situation, because she's acting as his manager. All right. So first thing happens, he had a deal with GQ magazine. They were going to name him Man of the Year. They're withdrawing that offer. They don't want to do that story. And then also he has a deal with Mercedes-Benz, who is backing out of their commitment to him. And so things are starting to fall apart for him based on this story is circulating about this alleged rape. Okay. The whore's name is Gold. I shouldn't say the whore. The working girl's name. That's the language they use. Women always going to use that language when they talk about their husband being involved with one. But the professional escort, shall we say, her name is Goldie. Okay. And it's been revealed that there was a rape kit. I don't know. I thought a rape kit was when people who are not very sexual active and they've had violent sex, there are tears and things in their vagina where they can tell that there have been some physical violence there. But if she's a working prostitute, I don't know how they would run a rape kit on her. But I'm not a doctor. I don't know very little bit about the goings on of the vagina. But I'm just saying they're saying that apparently there was a rape kit. Uh, More will be revealed with that in a couple minutes. Okay. Okay. Davis, they're threatening him, or I don't know if it actually is already in play, but they're threatening him at least with a indefinite suspension. Now, Davis is not at the beginning of his career. He's at like the end part of his career. He appears to be, 40-ish or getting around there. So they're offering him with an indefinite uh, suspension. And the other players are making deals without him, without him included in the deal. In other words, they're going to throw him under the bus. And Charlie's becoming aware of these side deals that are being made, because apparently there's more to this case than Davis has said. He said it was simply a call girl they hired for the party. She was paid. She offered these services, but apparently there's more to it than that. Okay, so the players settle without him, and they make a point that the manager the agent makes a point that he's getting older, and that's why they're willing to throw him under the bus, save their own selves. Okay, so Charlie has been flirting with Remy, of course. They started this from when she first met him. She's back in LA now, but she's calling him because they're discussing the situation with the seed cane, this bad seed cane. And Charlie's telling him that you knew this right away. What the farm needs is you. What RalphAngle needs is your help. And so now here we go. There's this constant thing of them asking these people to join into the farm. So I know it's going to happen. So she's asking him to join RalphAngle on the farm to handle the business part of the farm, to be the I guess it's called the farm manager, because that's what Remy is telling RalphAngle that he needs, and he does need help. But so far, he's not accepted that. But it keeps coming up. Put it like that, between him and also with Hollywood. Uh, okay, so all right, so towards the end of the episode, I'm just going to stick with this character Charlie for a minute. Towards the end of the episode, uh, their attorney, it would be Charlie and her husband's attorney, said they want to offer this girl some money, and so they offer her $500,000 to drop the case. Now this is what I don't like about television. There's always got the hat bait be of these highly principled people. I've known a lot of prostitutes in my time from my street days. I don't know too many that would turn down $500,000 because they had sex. They were a little rough, whatever. It turned down $500,000. They wouldn't turn down $50,000. Whole money is slow money. So I don't believe that part. I think it's unrealistic, and it always happens in television stuff. So I don't know if she has some kind of emotional. She feels emotionally. We don't know what happened there. Maybe they were violent with her. We don't know. But anyway, the girl whose name is Goldie has turned down the money, $500,000. She wants to move forward with the case, so she gets no money. She just gets the satisfaction of putting him in jail, I guess. Hollywood. Okay, so let's talk about her son, Micah. Poor Micah. Okay, so her son is 15 years old. He really wanted to come back and be with the father and support the father and so forth, but he's finding out that it's a lot to go along with that, enough for the whole family. Because when his mother drops him off at school, there's paparazzi are all around his school at the gates hollering his name because they want his story in front of all these kids and so forth. And then the kids are, of course, they're all curious. They keep asking him about his father. He doesn't want to talk about it, of course. Paparazzi and his girlfriend, Stella. He has a Stella. She's also 15. She's a little white girl. And they're very lovey-dovey kind of thing. They show them kissing and so forth, even in front of all the other kids. And so that's his girlfriend. So at some point, he tells her, I love you. And we're always waiting for it. Whenever you tell somebody, particularly when you're a young preteen, you tell somebody you love them, you're waiting for them to respond with, I love you, or something to that effect. But she doesn't. She just says, oh, Micah. So it turns out, okay, so we don't know how little teenagers are. So they're having this campaign online, and they're photoshopping his picture in all these sexual type things, him and her. They're taking their pictures and they put in little memes all over the internet, right? And it's painful for them because they're associating his father's sins with him. So now he's supposed to be like the man about town at school. Of course, the girl's mother is not having it because she's also seen these things online. And then Stella, okay, so something else happens. There's a picture that's been sent to her of his privates. I'll be nice because they're minors, of his private parts. Okay, as it turns out, the private parts do not belong to him, although they're being presented as his thing, right? Which means she's been seeing another black guy. I mean, he looks mixed. Although both his parents are black, his father's light skinned, so he's a very, very, very light skinned guy. So I guess someone in that same kind of hue must be her type, because someone else is sending her a penis, but she will not. She will not admit that. I guess she don't want her mom to know that she's seeing more than one boy, and these boys are sending her pictures of their stuff. But so he's called into the office, school, dean's office, because of this picture circulating of his private parts, and he tells he runs out of the room because they're going to expel him. They tell him to clean out his locker. They call his mother in there, and he said right in front of her, for him to go and clean out his locker. This was not to be tolerated. So he runs out of the room. When he gets out into the parking lot, the mother chases him, and he tells Charlie, his mother, that it's not his. But the reason why he ran out because he had the sudden realization that it's somebody else's. So she's been cheating on him. First, she wouldn't tell him that she loved him, and now she apparently has another boyfriend. It's kind of sad. That teenage love stuff it just hurts anyway. It's just you start finding out about people and how people are, human beings are. So he's going through that. Let's see. Okay, at some point he's sitting on the bed in the girl's room, and her mother bushes in on them. She started making excuses why this girl has to go. They have appointments. They have to go somewhere. The girl saying, "Oh no, that was last week, Mom." And so it's obvious she wants him out of that bedroom. She don't want him in her house without him contacting her first. But she's been coming over there regularly. They both say that. So it's obvious that she doesn't want him coming around anymore. This is all based on his father's actions in this scandal. Okay, I think that's Micah. All right, let's talk about Miss Nova. Okay, so we already know that Nova, what she does for her money is one thing is she sells weed. That was made clear on the very first episode. But she's also a serious reporter. Now she's been working on this case or trying to build this case. Because remember last week there was this young kid, didn't even appear to be an adult, but he was in an adult prison. She went to see him, and he was saying that he was innocent. And she was telling him to fight the case, kind of thing. She takes a personal interest in these kids as well. Anyway, so now she's been notified that the kid is in the hospital. She goes visit him, and he's been beat up bad. He's a young boy in an adult prison. So the kid doesn't talk. She takes pictures of him laying on his bed with his eyes all bloodied up and his head all banged up. All right, so she is now working on this case. She talks to this other black guy who's an adult. He's saying how they had offered the DA had offered him a plea deal to take some time for something he didn't do, and so this is the seed of she's discovering this big case. Something's going on with these black kids who are being offered these plea deals for tiny infractions. Like the boy that got beat up, all he had was a part of a joint on him, and he got all this time. This other guy is telling him he got all this time for something else equally as small, but he was offered a deal, so he took the time. What she's discovering is that these jails are overrun with these young black men, and the DA's in on it, and the cops are in on it, and perhaps even the judge is in on it. But it's part of this prison. My vocabulary is so messed up, but prison industrial complex, I think is the phrase they use, where the prison makes money and the state makes money by sending these people to prison. So they're all in on this to keep sending these people to prison for work and also to be paid by the state for incarcerating them. So this is going to be a big case for her. She does connect with this white reporter who knows more about the case, and so she's getting the information is coming into her. Okay, so that's what she's working on. Okay, so that's kind of a touching scene. Her and RalphAngle, they make up. She apologizes to him for not being there for him when he was locked up. She admits that she has taken more of an interest in these kids than him. So it may be that RalphAngle was treated unfairly as well because he's in the same jail system. But we'll see there. That's about it with Nova. Not a lot more going on with Nova. Unless something else comes to me. We'll see. Okay, Aunt V, she wants Hollywood goes away. Aunt V, she's the older aunt. I guess she's was the father's sister. She's got this younger man that she's dating, and they appear to have the best relationship in the whole series. They're in love with each other, but he goes away to work and comes back. she wants him to come and work for the farm with RalphAngle as well. So this is the second person that they're asking to work. And there's a reason why they shouldn't work. I mean, well, I guess they have to make a living. But if they're working the farm, I mean, that's what you do. You buy workers. They got 100,000 there to get this first crop in. So when this episode ends, he's going away to work. They have a little love scene kind of thing. Nothing nasty, but kissing and all that kind of stuff. So we're constantly being shown that they have a very good relationship, even though she's good 10, 15 years older than him. Anyway, so she makes the offer. He says no. Let me see. Who else is there? All right. So we know that Davis is on indefinite suspension. Okay. So I think I covered Davis pretty well. This this working lady saying that she is not going to accept a $500,000 settlement, which I think is very unrealistic. Apparently, something he's not told. He came clean with, or what was supposed to be clean with Charlie about what happened. Or that she was a prostitute and he hadn't raped anybody. But we're all scratching our heads, wondering how in the hell is she going to turn down $500,000 if all she was in it for was money. So more will be revealed there. Anyway, I hope I kind of recapped most of what went on there. It's a great series. I like it. I like predicting what's going to happen next, kind of thing. Nova's boyfriend, Nova is involved with the married white cop. So I don't think anything really happened with them there. He was at the hospital when she went to see this kid. So they give you previews of what's going on happens next, kind of thing. So I guess you're going to be digging into this story of this these black men being basically sold back and forth to these prisons. Anyway, so that was episode 4 of Queen Sugar. All right, see you in a week.